When you're watching photography content on YouTube, it can often feel like you're missing out on some grand epic adventure that I guess you're supposed to be having if you're also a photographer. You know, you see all these videos of these gorgeous locations around the world with these content creators just basking in all of its glory, showing off the amazing photos that they're taking. And then they'll tell you that you should stop spending so much time and money on gear, social media, whatever, you know, your family, stupid stuff like that. And instead, to place that time and money into traveling, seeing new things, photographing new experiences and locations, and overall just investing into globetrotting instead of obsessing over gear. And all of those things are actually true to an extent. It is almost always better to spend your time and money on experiences, going to see new places and meeting new people and using whatever gear you already have to do so. So if all of that is great and I agree with it, why aren't I doing it? And why aren't you? The truth of the matter is that not every photographer is free to just travel as much as they want to. It's simply not feasible. So this video today is for me. It's also for you. It's for anyone out there who loves photography and documenting cool things, but just can't travel right now. And if that is indeed you, I'm glad you're here, and let's talk about it. But first, my name is Walter, and I'm a career photographer and commercial filmmaker based in the southeastern United States. And on this channel, I'm all about trying to put the fun back into professional photography. So if that's something that makes you feel like you just drank this iced coffee that I personally just drank and feel great, then subscribe for more crap from me. The first thing I want to talk about here is that I just don't really love to travel a whole lot. Yes, I like to see new things and have new experiences, but at most, and I mean absolute most, I can do like 3 days out of a suitcase before I get just so very homesick. In my early 20s, I learned that I'm a pretty big homebody. I like to be in my bed at night. I like my own stuff around me. I like my daily routines. And so whenever I take myself out of any of those things, it just doesn't feel really like calm or relaxing to me. Traveling just feels like chaos, and that's okay. I'm not saying that chaos is inherently bad. I think we can learn a lot actually about the world and ourselves when we're in a more chaotic environment. And it can also be exciting chaos, but we're also not supposed to live in perpetual chaos. And maybe I'm just speaking for myself, but I typically try to keep my chaos to a minimum, at least insofar as it's chaos that I've chosen, because pretty much every day I live in some level of chaos that I don't necessarily choose, which brings me to the second main reason I don't really like to travel. This little girl right here. And the other girl, I think she's my wife. Anyway, this is my family, and if you've watched any of my videos before, you've seen my photos of them because they're my favorite subjects to document. They're my daily life, they're who I spend the most amount of time with, they're who I share a home with. And while I know I have to work and therefore spend time away from them as a part of my daily routine, it hurts really bad when I have to leave them even for a weekend. And any time outside of working hours, my priority is to spend those hours with them. And so because of that, when I have to travel and be away from them, especially overnight, it just really sucks. I love our chaotic morning routines and the even more chaotic evening routines, and I really hate having to miss those sometimes. She's absolutely insane between bath time and bedtime, and while sometimes that does really wear me down, it's also hilarious and fun, and I never want to miss out on it. She's growing up so incredibly fast, and one day away from her feels like I'm really missing out on something important. And I know that at the end of my life, the only thing I'm going to look back on and really value and cherish is the time I spent with my family. So that right there is enough reason for me to not want to travel. None of what I've talked about so far has really had anything to do with photography specifically, but because a lot of the photos I show here on this channel include my family, and we're talking about why I don't want to travel personally for photography when I don't have to, I figured it would be good to give you some sort of insight to where I'm coming from. And if you're a parent too, you completely understand and agree with all of that. So now let's tie it back to photography and how I'm making sure I feel fulfilled in what I'm shooting, even though I don't really go anywhere. You've probably thought to yourself at some point that you wish you lived in a bigger or more interesting city or town, somewhere where you can just go outside or drive for 10 minutes to some kind of beautiful location and get amazing photos anywhere you go. Maybe you really want to do street photography, but you live in the middle of nowhere in Iowa and there are no bustling metropolises near you. Or maybe you want to practice landscape photography, but you live in suburban Mississippi and it's all flat and all the terrain and landscapes just look the same all the time. Ask me how I know about about living in Mississippi. All of these things are valid complaints, and the first thing people will tell you to do in order to get your photography fix outside of your town is to just get on a plane and go somewhere. And yes, that works. You can theoretically go anywhere you want to. But for so many people, including myself, that's really just not possible. And so what can you do here? Let's analyze this just a little bit. Let's start with you as a person. Looking inwardly and being critical of ourselves is not something anybody really enjoys a whole lot. And I get it. I don't love it either. But inward critiques can be very helpful for everyone, especially those of us who are creative, because it's how we push ourselves and improve. So, who are you? Are you a young 20-something with a 9-to-5, no spouse or kids? Well, look at that. You got a lot of time on your hands and a bright future ahead of you. You get to decide what direction you want to take your life and your creativity. And there's no better place to start and get practice in than right in the town that you live in right now. Doesn't matter how long you've lived wherever you are right now to do this particular exercise, okay? Go outside and try to look at your town through the eyes of a tourist. Somebody your age, maybe just breezing through town. You're probably used to all the crap you see every day on your commute. But what about the roads you've never gone down? What about the edge of town, right on the county line, where there isn't as much activity? You think that there are some stories out there that haven't been told yet? I can guarantee you that there are. Find them with your camera and tell them. You're young, you have nothing but time. You don't have a lot of money, and that's why you're not traveling as much, but you got time. So go check it out. You probably also have a group of friends, however big or small. Fire up the group chat. See who wants to go explore with you this weekend. Drive 30 minutes out of town to somewhere you've never been and just see what's there. Take your camera, see what's there, document it. Maybe you're like me and you have a family. That's your daily life. It's the main thing you think about during the day, and they are the reason that you do whatever it is that you do. That right there is your story. That's what you document. Bring your camera when you take your kids to the park. Take some shots when they're playing on the porch, not shots of alcohol, shots with your camera. I don't know, maybe your kids are crazy, you need some alcohol. I don't know, I'm not judging anybody. Anyway, grab a few frames when they're washing their hands in the sink or helping your spouse cook. I've come to really love all of the small moments with my family on a daily basis, because that's where we really live life. Our personal lives, me and my family, are not about doing amazing things all the time and constantly having new experiences. That would be exhausting. No, we live in the mundane, which isn't a bad thing. I really appreciate that we can provide our child with routine and consistency, which is really good for her. She knows us and knows that we will provide for her and keep her safe. So she gets to just play and be goofy. And because I'm a photographer, I get to document that. In fact, I have so many photos of her that I have no idea how she's going to even be able to see all of them when she gets older. Because I'm of the generation where all the photos of me as a kid are physically printed photos in an album that you hold with your hands. There's no Google Drive or iOS photos folder that contains every photo of me ever. But for my kid, we're now on our second shared photos album in iOS because we filled up the first one entirely, and my iPhone was like, hey, we literally can't fit any more photos in here. And that's incredible. I'm so thankful that I'm present in my family's lives to the point where I can document almost everything. And maybe they're sick of me taking a camera everywhere, but I don't care. We're all going to be thankful years down the road that I did so. Okay, so maybe you have your own family, maybe you don't, but maybe you're in a financial position where you just can't afford to travel, or you have a demanding job where maybe you do have the money to do so theoretically, but you don't get enough time off to make traveling worth it. You want to go somewhere, you want to do these things and take these photos that you see these other photographer influencers doing, but it's just not in the cards for you right now. And I get it, it sucks, but hopefully at this point in the video, you understand that you're not absolutely alone in that, and that it doesn't mean you can't shoot anything at all. Take the equipment that you have right now, even though you wish you had more or better equipment, and go explore your town in a way that you haven't before. Like I mentioned before, just pretend you're that tourist or someone on a road trip who just stopped off the highway for gas. Force yourself to look at your boring ass town as someone who's never seen it before, because I can guarantee you that the most beautiful town or big city you've ever seen, like some remote village in Italy or like bustling London or something like that, there are people in those towns, in those cities, who feel exactly the way that you do about your town. they also don't have the time or money to travel to new places, and they probably wish they could come see your town. So put yourself in their shoes and photograph your area in the way that you think a tourist would. I don't know, man. I feel like maybe I rambled a little bit in this one, and I didn't have like one clear piece of advice for every photographer who feels trapped in the place that they're in. But I guess if I had to put it all together in one package, it would be this: you're not trapped. You only feel trapped. And it's not because your town sucks or that you don't have the time or money to go somewhere else to get your photography fix. No, you feel trapped because you're making yourself feel trapped. You've convinced yourself that your area sucks and that whatever stage of life you're in that's keeping you from traveling, you're convinced that time of your life sucks. There are good and fulfilling stories waiting to be told, and you have the power to do so with your camera. And they're not stories that are somewhere out there where you have to get on a plane and go to them. No, they're stories that are 10 minutes from you, in your own backyard and inside your own home. Tell those stories and don't let anyone try to convince you that you have to go somewhere else to be fulfilled in your photography. Maybe you can't travel much right now, but that's okay. This is a great time to practice those skills and document whatever you have going on in front of you, because becoming a tourist in your own town or becoming your family's documentarian is almost, like, for me at least, much more fulfilling than going to, some crazy places. And I promise you'll start to feel more fulfilled when you stop daydreaming about what's out there and focus on what you actually have right in front of you. But let me throw it to you. What do you think about all of that? Do you travel a lot? Or maybe you used to travel, but then you started a family and you just can't anymore. Or maybe you're in a tough period in your life with time or money and you want to go to places, but it's just not the time for you right now. I would love to hear about any and all of that in the comments, because I do my best to respond to everyone in due time. And please check out my website and Instagram, both linked in the description. You are free to DM me on Instagram if you'd like and ask me whatever you want, because I love connecting with people there. And you can support me in what I'm doing on this channel even more. The teleprompter hasn't caught up with me yet, so I'm just kind of rambling for a second. You can support me what I'm doing on this channel by simply liking the video and subscribing. Both things that tell that dumbass algorithm that this is a video that more people should see. And if you subscribe, you're guaranteed regular photography content, as I make one video a week all about trying to put the fun back into professional photography. You can support me monetarily by checking out my Fujifilm preset pack that is on my in the link in the description as well. That'd be great. I'd appreciate it if you did that. And if you don't want to do any of that, that's totally fine, because I will see you in the algorithm in 6 months.